Christ our King. Hope all is well. As always, it's good to get a chance to be before you. On behalf of the Kingdom Thinking team, we're grateful for all of the support that you all have been giving as we've tried to put out some series that challenges you and encourages you and just helps us to think through the times we're in and through a biblical and cultural and a historical lens. As we are approaching this month, February, Black History Month, we thought it was only befitting to pause on our review of Color of Compromise, an incredible book, and to spend some time presenting to you all some of the people who have been monumental in Black history and in their work and through their work, helping to shape our lives today. So this month, you all, we're going to pause on our review of Color of Compromise, and we're going to be putting out videos every week highlighting an important figure in Black history. But one of the things that's interesting that we're going to be doing this month, you all, just kind of given where we are now, where we have seen not just the first female vice president, but the first Black vice president and the first Black female vice president. A sister who went to Howard University, a sister who pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. We thought that it would be so befitting to honor our women and our sisters this month. So we're going to present to you all this month a new series for Kingdom Thinking, which is the Women of the Movement. Every week you're going to be hearing a new story about a female figure, a prominent female figure who worked to help give us the freedom that we enjoy every day. And I get the chance, you all, to kick us off with the first. And this woman, you all, is monumental, but even more important for us, particularly because she's homegrown, right here in North Carolina. And that woman is Ella Baker. So Ella Baker, you all, born in 1903 in Norfolk, Virginia. Born to a father who worked on steamships and a mother who housed people for income. 7 years later, after she's born, a race riot breaks out in Norfolk where Black people who were working in the shipyard were being attacked. And so after witnessing this violence against Blacks, Ella's mom decided to take her children and to move her family to Littleton, North Carolina. And that is where Ella would grow up. Her father would stay home and continue working on the steamships. But Ella's mother took her family and moved them to North Carolina. And it would be this move, you all, to North Carolina that would go on to set the stage for what would become Ella's life that is committed to justice and to activism. As Ella's growing up in Littleton as a child, she's naturally drawn to her grandmother. Her grandmother, a beautiful woman who unfortunately was a formerly enslaved person. And she would often tell Ella stories about her personal struggles as a Black woman living in an oppressive society. Ella's grandmother particularly would share a story with her about a time when she was beaten for refusing to marry a man that was chosen for her by their owner. She refused. She said, "I'm not going to marry him." And she was beaten for that. And it would be that story, you all, that story of righteous defiance that would go on to help Ella's passion for serving and for empowering the oppressed. Ella would then grow up and she would become a young woman and she would go on to attend Shaw University. And she would graduate from Shaw University as the valedictorian. Now, after graduating from Shaw, Ella was one of the many and joining that great migration where millions of African Americans fled the violence of the South to the North, to places like New York, Philadelphia, Chicago. Ella went to New York City. And as she went to New York City, she became immersed in the culture of Harlem that had been shaped by the Renaissance. So in 1930, as she had moved to New York City, she went to work for the Young Negroes Cooperative League, who fought to build economic freedom for Black people. While working for the Young Negroes Cooperative League, she's quoted as saying, "People cannot be free until there's enough work in this land to give everybody a job." Powerful words that I think ring true even right now. From 1938 to 1953, Ella would go on to work as a field secretary for the NAACP. And as a part of this role for the NAACP, she would travel quite a bit and she would recruit members, she would raise money, she would organize local chapters. And just within 5 years of her starting her work with the NAACP, she would go on to become the director of branches, which made her, in that position, the highest ranking woman in the organization. After serving within the NAACP, from 1957 to 1960, Ella moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And it's there where she would work with Dr. King and Ralph Abernathy and Fred Shuttlesworth to help build what we know as SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which was used, of course, to take nonviolence in demonstration and to fight for equality. After her time with the SCLC, in 1960, a big year for civil rights, because it was this year where a sit-in movement was born. After students from North Carolina A&T and Bennett College staged a sit-in at the Woolworth's lunch counter in downtown Greensboro. After witnessing this, Ella convinced the SCLC to invite these college students from the South to a leadership conference that was hosted, guess where, you all? Right here in Raleigh, on the campus of Shaw University. And they met on Easter weekend. Born out of this conference is what we know as SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. And in SNCC, in the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, there emerged leaders who have been immortalized for all of their work. Names like Julian Bond, names like Diane Nash, names like Stokely Carmichael, and names like the late, great John Lewis, who used to make good trouble. After all of this work, Ella never even stopped being a voice. She never stopped the work. She never stopped being a voice for the oppressed. Even when she moved back home to New York City, she continued the work. And so now this champion, this giant in the civil rights movement would go on to pass away in 1986 at the age of 83, but now she is remembered most eloquently through her own words. The major job was getting people to understand that they had something within their power that they could use. And it could only be used if they understood what was happening and how group action could counter violence. Christ our King, join me in honoring a queen, Miss Ella Baker. God bless you. Hope you enjoy this series.